What's happening, guys? Gemma here and back again for another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about the GB Hunter, which is a piece of hardware that will allow you to play Game Boy games on your Nintendo 64 consoles. We are going to put this through its paces. I already know the outcome and I am eager to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, before we dive into this, if you're new here, make sure you thump that subscribe button, leave a like and share the video to your social media using hashtag TheGebs24. Enough of that. What actually is the GB Hunter? Released in 1998 in the USA and in Europe, the GB Hunter allows you to play original Game Boy games, and we're going to be taking a look at just how this thing fares and which Game Boy games it might play during testing. Now, if you've played one of these, you'll know that it looks like this. Not the most attractive of accessories to look at, but nonetheless, it's worth doing this video about because I'm all about taking a look at these more quirky components of the gaming world. Let me know if you've ever seen one of these and how you found it. So first off, this was sent to me by Andy, a Sony representative, or worker rather, in London. Thank you, Andy. This works by simply putting any Nintendo 64 game onto the back loader right here. So you're literally popping it in like that, and what that will allow this piece of hardware to do is this will act as like a boot up for the software to be able to run the Game Boy games on the Nintendo 64. So we're going to plug this in. I also read somewhere that this thing will play various Game Boy Color cartridges. So we're actually going to test 2 Game Boy Color cartridges just to see if that works. Now, if you've used one of these, let me know in the comment section below, and if you can have any recommendations on games that might work, on games that might not work, please smash your comment below. So how does this thing actually fare? Well, once you've plugged it in and turned on your Nintendo 64, you're greeted with this horrific screen and some of the most horrendous music. So that game was 6 golden coins, and no amount of blowing the cartridge would bring it to fruition. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So I tried Link's Awakening and I managed to get this thing to work. So again, this is an original Game Boy game and I loaded it up. As you guys can see, the aspect ratio is in proportion, and there's a couple of things you can do within the menus, and I'm going to take you on a walkthrough. Throughout the menus, it's very limited, and at the end, like I said, I'm going to draw this all to a conclusion as I was expecting a little bit more. Now, on your Nintendo 64 pad, you simply press L and R, gives you the ability to stretch the picture to fit the screen, which looks absolutely horrific. And then in the center there, you will notice that you can go 1, 2, 3 and 4 and cycle through some borders, which I'm going to show you all of them. So the default is black. The second one is this horrible red and pink. The third one is even worse. Not quite sure where the developers thought that this would be a great idea. And then the fourth one is much more easy on the eye, which is actually white. You can't pick it up in camera, but trust me guys, it is white, and it is probably the one that is the most easiest on the eye. Now, as you guys can see, there's a trainer menu, and I've tried and tried and tried to play around with this, but it just makes no sense. It's just not that clear. It doesn't appear to be as user-friendly as I would like. There's also the ability to log in cheats, and you can play around with the RGB color systems. Not that you'd want to, but hey, at least the game worked. Now we try a Game Boy Color game, and this is what happens when you try a Game Boy Color game. You get that garish menu again. Rest assured the music is there, which you cannot turn off at all. You have to play that music throughout the entire game, and then it recognizes the game, but it says this: basically, you can't play it. So I thought maybe we'll try another game. So we popped in this Oracle of Seasons, and again, unable to play it. It tells me to go and get out my GBC. Damn. So there we go. Unfortunately, the Game Boy Color cartridges that I put to the test didn't quite live up to the mark. I'm still yet to find one. I've tested a couple of more cartridges since I did that filming right there, and I still can't get anything to work. As you saw, the device recognizes it's a Game Boy Color cartridge, has a little bit of artwork, and then is just like, no, you need to use this on a Game Boy Color, which is absolutely fine. I've got quite a few nonetheless. Now, I'm just going to pull this out here. Until Andy sent this to me, I'd never heard of it. Now, do I think it is worth you making a purchase of a GB Hunter? In my opinion, no. I don't think this thing lives up to the required enjoyment level for it to be worth it. I mean, the mere fact that you cannot change the music is repetitive, and as we know, in this age of gaming in particular, sound can be 50% of a game, and I think with the Nintendo Game Boy classics, like your Zeldas, like your 6 golden coins, that sound means everything. It's part of the nostalgia. You know, if you're at a retro game store or a retro game market and you hear a sound effect from a video game or a gaming track that you could perhaps attribute to Contra or something, you instantly light up. So it's a major flaw that this thing is it just doesn't have any sound effects. Secondly, when you're allowed to change the backgrounds, you get the 4 as I demonstrated. They're absolutely hideous. Now, call me crazy, but they're hideous. They're absolutely hideous. I know on something like the SNES Mini, you do have the borders there to cramp the aspect ratio down a little bit, but I think the borders on the SNES Mini are a lot better. Obviously, that's a licensed product. This isn't, but the colours were just so hideous. For me personally, I'd rather just have the black border or the white border, because for me that tended to be easier on the eye in terms of playing this thing for any amount of time. I just didn't feel that it was worth it. I know you can utilise cheat codes on this, but cheat codes aren't something that I use within games. Let me know if that's something that would be a selling point for you on this. But I think if you can get this for either free or less than £2, it might potentially be worth it. But I wouldn't get this for its functionality. I like it purely on the basis that it is obscure. I'd rate this a 2 out of 10 in terms of its functionality. I don't like it. The games run okay, so we have to give some credit where credit is due. There tends to be no pixel bleeding, no frame rate issues, nothing that you would expect from a third-party piece of hardware like this. So I think that is a positive. If you could have had the sound, then maybe this would have been worth it, but you don't. So I would say pass this, don't even bother unless you can get it for like a couple of quid. I would just walk away. So there we go, guys. If you can recommend any other pieces of obscure hardware like the GB Hunter, let us know in the comment section below. I would really appreciate it. I would be happy to buy some of my own money and test them. I actually had fun doing this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Now I'm back, just as a little side note here. Live streams are back this Thursday. I've changed internet provider, so I've got myself a nice Ethernet port here in the Lady Lounge. So we got Resident Evil 2 streams coming all weekend. We're going to complete Shenmue as well, so make sure you stick around for that. But for now, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. My name is Gemma. Take care, and if you have any questions, comment. See you soon.